Before I tell you how we conquered the planet, you need to understand something. 300,000 years ago, 7 different species of humans cowered in the same darkness. Homo erectus, Neanderthals, Denisovans, us. They were stronger than us, smarter than us. They'd survived longer than us. But in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you the exact moment one skinny, terrified Homo sapiens did something that would kill every other human species on Earth. She picked up a burning stick. That single act would lead to the extinction of 6 human species. The transformation of Earth's entire ecosystem leaves us completely alone on a planet where we once hid in trees praying for sunrise. Every light you see, every engine that runs, every meal you cook, it all started with one desperate human who was tired of being afraid of the dark. This is the story of how fire turned the weakest ape into the only ape, how we weaponized chemistry before we knew what chemistry was, and how every other human species learned too late that we weren't playing with fire, we were becoming it. And if you think you know this story, you have no idea what your ancestors really did with flame to make sure you'd be the only human watching this. Let me show you what actually happened when humanity declared war on the night and won. The screaming starts at sunset, always at sunset. In the acacia tree, 20 Homo habilis grip branches with desperate strength as darkness swallows the African savanna. Below them, eyes begin to glow. Yellow pairs, green singles, red clusters. The night hunters are waking, and everything that walks on 2 legs knows what comes next. The child, pressed against her mother's chest, has never known a night without terror. When the sun dies, the world belongs to tooth and claw. Her people can make sharp stones, can work together, can even plan tomorrow's foraging. But when darkness comes, they're just meat in trees, waiting for dawn or death, whichever comes first. A branch cracks under too much weight. Uncle T falls 6 FT before catching another limb. His scream was cut short by the need to climb. Below, the scratching sounds intensify, claws on bark. The leopard has chosen its tree. The infant starts crying. A death sentence after dark. Mother presses her hand over its mouth, feeling the tiny heartbeat through her palm. The baby must learn silence or die teaching others why quiet matters. Around them, 23 hearts beat so loud, they're certain the whole savanna can hear. The darkness isn't empty. It moves, shifts, breathes. Something massive passes beneath. A short-faced bear maybe, or something worse. They can smell its musk, hear its snuffling investigation of their daily tools left below. The cracking sounds of their digging sticks being destroyed. Tomorrow's survival crushed between jaws that could snap femurs like twigs. By midnight, the child has learned to urinate silently down the tree trunk, to shift position without rustling leaves, to breathe through her nose to minimize sound. These aren't skills taught by day. Night teaches through terror, and tuition is paid in blood. The leopard is patient. It knows they must come down eventually. It can wait days. They can't. Already grandmother's grip weakens from age and exhaustion. If she falls, the leopard feeds, but worse. The commotion might bring the others, the ones that hunt in packs, 15 FT away in another tree. Cousin Greg's family clusters in similar terror. They're close enough to hear each other's breathing, too far to help if the branches break. This is a connection without comfort, community without power. They're together, but absolutely alone. Each family is an island in an ocean of darkness. The sounds below are wet now. Something found the baby antelope they'd killed at noon, cached in branches they thought were high enough. The feeding sounds of tearing, crunching, satisfied growls remind them they're not special. They're just prey that learn to climb. Dawn comes like resurrection. The child watches the eastern sky lighten with religious intensity. Light means life. Light means the ground is theirs again. Light means the monsters become animals that can be avoided, outsmarted, maybe even hunted. As they descend on shaking limbs, the child sees the leopard sauntering away, belly full of antelope. No longer interested in the effort of climbing, the relief is overwhelming. They've survived another night. But tomorrow, darkness comes again, and every sunset until they die will bring the same terror, the same helplessness, the same prison of branches and fear. This is humanity before fire, brilliant by day, victims by night, masters of stone, slaves to darkness. The child doesn't know that her descendants will conquer night itself. She only knows the sun is rising, and for the next 12 hours, the world belongs to those brave enough to walk upright. The screaming will start again at sunset. It always does. The storm builds all afternoon like a predator stalking. Homo erectus watches from the cave mouth, understanding weather patterns their ancestors couldn't grasp. When clouds turn green-black, when air tastes of metal, when hair stands without wind. The sky is about to make war with Earth. The clan retreats deeper into the limestone shelter, 27 souls who've learned that angry skies mean death for anyone exposed. They've seen lightning turn trees into explosions, watched rain become floods, felt thunder shake mountains. Nature's rage is to be avoided, not challenged. But Crawl watches, always watches. She's different from the others, curious where they're fearful, fascinated where they're repelled. The storm speaks to something in her mind that hasn't evolved in the others yet. Where they see chaos, she sees patterns. Where they fear, she wonders. The first bolt strikes the valley below with violence that makes everyone scream. But the scream that follows is different. Awe, not fear. The great oak, the grandfather tree that has sheltered generations, is burning. Orange flowers bloom from its crown, eating branches, transforming wood into light. The clan retreats deeper, but Crawl steps forward. She's seen fire before, grass fires sparked by lightning racing across savers, but always at distance, always running away. This fire is trapped, contained by the rain, feeding on one tree. This fire is catchable. Her mate Bron grabs her arm as she moves toward the cave entrance. His eyes plead, but Kra's mind is already racing through possibilities. Every winter they lose members to cold. Every night they huddle in terror. This burning tree is warmth, light and power. The rain intensifies, but the oak's heart burns, protected by its own bulk. Grabs a branch, dead wood kept for digging, and starts down the slope. Others cry out, but she's already running through rain that hits like stones toward the thing that terrifies every animal except her. The heat hits her at 20 paces. Not the gentle warmth of the sun, but the aggressive, angry heat that makes her eyes water. The sound is wrong, too, cracking, roaring, alive. But she pushes forward until her branch touches the burning tree. The dead wood catches immediately. She's holding fire, holding the thing that makes night fly, holding warmth that doesn't come from bodies, holding light that doesn't need sun. For one moment, she's a god. Then reality strikes. The branch is burning toward her hand. She runs, not away, but back to the cave, carrying miracle and danger in the same grip. The others scatter as she enters. This crazy woman brought the destroyer into their home, but Kra knows. She feeds the flame with dry grass from their bedding, then twigs, then branches. The cave transforms. Shadows dance on walls that have never seen shadow. Warmth spreads like invisible honey. The smoke makes them cough, but also makes mosquitoes flee. By nightfall, they're still afraid, but differently. The fire is dangerous, could kill them all. But outside, they hear the frustrated sounds of night hunters who won't approach the light. For the first time in a million years of hominid existence, they own the night. Crawl stays awake, feeding this new child that must never sleep. She doesn't know she's changed everything. Doesn't know that this burning branch will become cooking, metallurgy, civilization. She only knows that her baby, born small and weak, might survive this winter. The flame flickers, casting her shadow huge against the cave wall. In that shadow, the future is written. But tonight, she's just Crawl. keeper of stolen skyfire, hoping morning comes before the wood runs out. The fire has been burning for 63 days. Gorm knows because he's counted every sunrise, carved a mark for each on the cave wall. He hasn't slept properly in 63 days either. The fire is a child that never stops crying, always hungry, never satisfied. His eyes are permanently red from smoke, his hands blistered from feeding hot coals, his back screaming from the constant wood gathering. But he can't stop, won't stop. The clan has tasted cooked meat, felt warmth in winter, seen predators flee from flame. They've forgotten how to live without it, and forgetting backward means death. The others help when they can, but Gorm is the keeper, chosen not for strength or wisdom, but for one simple trait. The easy fuel within a 100 paces is gone. Now they range farther, risk more. Every branch is precious, every log a treasure. He's learned that different woods burn differently. Oak burns long and hot. Pine burns fast and bright. Wetwood just makes smoke that blinds and chokes. The children don't understand the burden. They play near the flames, drop food in ashes, treat fire like it's permanent as stone. They weren't here the 3 times it almost died. Don't know that Gorm once ran 2 miles with a smoldering branch when wind killed their main flame, arriving barely in time to resurrect their light. Night is the worst. The others sleep in the warmth, secure in the glow. But Gorm watches the wood supply dwindle, calculates burn rates, decides whether to wake someone for more fuel or risk letting it burn lower. Too much wood and they'll run out by dawn. Too little and the fire dies. The margin for error is measured in heartbeats. He's discovered tricks. Banking coals under ash keeps them alive longer. Blowing through a hollow reed makes precise heat. Green leaves create smoke that drives insects away, but every trick demands attention, and attention never sleeps. The other clans think they're gods now. 3 groups have visited, offering meat, furs, their daughters, anything for the secret of eternal flame. But there's no secret, just Gorm's burning eyes and aching back. He tries to teach them, but they want magic, not the mundane reality of constant vigilance. His mate brings him food he barely tastes. His children forget his face because he's always turned toward the fire. He's becoming something less than human, a function, not a person. The clan prospers, but Gorm is dying by degrees, consumed by the thing he maintains. On the 63rd night, disaster strikes. The wood is damp from unexpected rain. The fire struggles, shrinking despite his desperate feeding. Smoke fills the cave. People wake, cough, and panic. The flame is down to one small flicker on a single coal. Gorm does the unthinkable. He grabs their most precious possessions, the winter furs, carefully cured and irreplaceable. He feeds them to the dying flames. The clan screams, protests, but fur burns hot, buying time. Time to find dry wood deep in the pile. Time to rebuild what almost vanished. By dawn, the fire roars again, but Gorm has aged years in one night. The clan will be cold this winter without those furs, but they'll have fire. The trade was his to make, the burden his to carry. On day 64, he carves another mark. He'll carve marks until he dies or the fire does. Whichever comes first, it won't be long. The keeper's burden isn't just maintaining the flame, it's being slowly cremated by responsibility. But tonight, his clan will eat cooked meat and sleep without fear. Worth it. The smell hits them first. Not the copper stench of raw meat or the rot of carrion, but something entirely new. Sweet, rich, pulling at their mouths in ways that make no sense. The rabbit fell into the coals by accident when Tak dropped it, and now it's transforming into something impossible. The clan gathers confused. Meat changes color near a fire, they've noticed that. But this rabbit has become something else entirely. The fur is gone, the skin is crispy, and underneath the flesh has turned from red to brown. More importantly, it smells like the future. Old Mirror reaches first. Her teeth, worn to nubs from 40 winters of chewing raw sinew, can barely handle fresh meat anymore. But when she bites this transformed rabbit, her eyes water. It falls apart in her mouth. No tearing, no grinding, just melting. Flavors that have always been locked inside suddenly sing. The children are next, always brave or stupid depending on perspective. They grab pieces, juggling them between burned fingers, laughing at the heat and the taste. Their small jaws, not yet strong enough for serious raw meat, handle this easily. Even baby Kota, still nursing, gums a piece successfully. Within minutes, the entire rabbit is gone. 27 erectus sit in stunned silence, mouths full of flavor echoes, minds trying to process what just happened. Then, without discussion, they throw another rabbit on the coals. This time, they watch. The meat sweats, then sizzles. The smell builds like a story. Fat drips, causing small fires that add new smells. The outside darkens while staying soft inside. They're witnessing chemistry they won't understand for 1,000,000 years, but their bodies understand immediately. Over the coming weeks, everything goes on the fire. Roots become sweet instead of bitter. Tough tubers turn creamy. Seeds that were inedible become crunchy treasures. Even bones, cracked and roasted, release marrow that tastes like concentrated life. But the real change happens slowly, generation by generation. Jaws begin shrinking. No need for massive muscles to tear raw flesh. Teeth reduce in size. The enormous gut required to process raw food diminishes. Every calorie saved from digestion can go elsewhere. Where does it go? The brain. Young Deal, born 3 summers after cooking began, is different. Watching patterns in smoke makes connections others miss. His head is rounder, forehead higher. He's not smarter because he eats cooked food. He's smarter because his mother did, could extract more nutrients, could build a better brain in her womb. The social changes are immediate. Cooking takes time, requires patience. The clan must wait around the fire together, no longer wolfing down meat at kill sites. They sit, they wait, they look at each other. In that way, something new is born. Dinner conversation, even without words. Sharing changes too. Raw meat is grabbed, fought over, dominated by the strong. But cooked food requires a cook, someone to tend and turn and time. That person gains power through skill, not strength. Elderly Mirror, weak but wise about temperatures, becomes more valuable than young hunters. Fire becomes a laboratory. They learn that meat near flame, but not in it, cooks differently, that wrapping food in wet leaves creates steam. Buying tubers in coals makes them sweeter than surface roasting. Every meal is an experiment. Every cook is a scientist. But the greatest change is invisible. Parasites that plagued them for millennia die in the heat. Bacteria that shortened lives vanish. The constant low-grade infections that sapped energy cease. They don't know why they feel better, only that cooked food brings strength. Raw food never did. By year's end, they can't imagine eating any other way. When neighboring clans visit, still knowing raw bones, they look like animals. The erectus offer them cooked meat. Watch their eyes widen. Know they're spreading revolution one meal at a time. Cooking isn't just about food. It's about transforming energy itself, extracting more from less, turning their bodies into more efficient machines. Machines that can support bigger brains, brains that will someday wonder how this all started. It started with Tark dropping a rabbit, the clumsiest moment in history, the accident that would create consciousness itself. The cave bear owns the mountain's best shelter. 300 square FT of dry limestone, protected from wind facing south for morning sun. Perfect for raising cubs, perfect for surviving winter, perfect for the 30 erectus who need it more. But the bear is 1/200 lb of muscle and fury, claws like curved daggers, jaws that crack femurs for fun. It's owned this cave for 6 winters, the bones scattered at the entrance. Wolf, leopard, and yes, humans advertise the price of trespassing. Kong studies the bones, particularly the human skull. Puncture marks match the bear's canine spacing perfectly. This was his brother, who tried to take the cave 2 winters ago with spears and courage. Both failed against Erskine rage, but Cog has something his brother didn't. Fire on a stick. The torch took days to perfect. Not just any burning branch, that would die too quickly. This is pine rich with resin, wrapped with dried grass, coated with animal fat. It will burn for an hour, maybe more, long enough for what must be done. 20 erectors spread in a semicircle at the cave mouth. Each carries a torch, and behind them 5 more carry bundles of extras. This isn't a hunt, it's an eviction. They've watched the bear's patterns for weeks. Now it returns from foraging at dusk. The sun is setting now. The smell announces it first. Rank musk of apex predator. Then the shambling sound, confident and unhurried. Why hurry when nothing challenges you? The bear rounds the rock outcrop and stops, confused. Its cave entrance glows with dancing light. Creatures stand where they shouldn't exist. It rises on hind legs, 12th of evolutionary perfection. The roar shakes stones loose from above. This display has sent entire wolf packs running, but the humans step forward, not back. Their torches wave in practiced patterns, creating a wall of fire. The bear charges a 000 LB at 30 mesetration per. The humans scatter, but coordinated like they've rehearsed. The bear pursues Car, who runs toward the cliff. At the last second, Karg dives left. The bear skids, nearly going over rage, making it stupid. When it turns, the torches have reformed closer now. The bear's eyes weren't made for bright light, the flames blind and confused. It swipes at the nearest human, but they're already dancing back, replaced by another with fresh fire. The bear is fighting the sun itself. The first torch thrown hits its shoulder, singing fur. The bear screams, not a roar, but something higher, more disturbing. It's never been burned before, never felt pain it couldn't fight. The second torch lands on its back, then another and another. The smell of burning fur fills the valley. The bear rolls, trying to extinguish flames, but more torches fly. The humans aren't trying to kill it. Death would take too long. They're teaching it that this place brings only pain. The bear breaks. The king of the mountain runs like a cub from thunder. It crashes through brush, over rocks, anywhere away from the dancing flames and creatures insane enough to throw them. Behind it, the humans howl, not words, but pure triumph, the sound of the weak discovering strength. But Cog knows this is just beginning. They've taken the cave, but keeping it means maintaining fear. Every night, guards with torches will stand watch. Every morning they'll burn bear dung found nearby, reminding it of defeat. The bear will return, testing, probing for weakness. One night without fire, and there'll be bones at the entrance. The cave is theirs, but the price is eternal vigilance. Fire gave them power to challenge giants, but fire demands feeding, tending, and protecting. They've traded one master for another, but this master they can control. 3 nights later, the bear does return, sees the torches, remembers pain, leaves. Each night it returns a little less frequently until eventually it finds another cave, lesser but free from flame. The Erectus children play where bears once raised cubs. They don't know that their games happen on a battlefield, that their laughter echoes where roars once ruled. They only know the cave is warm, dry, and safe. The car knows better, knows that every night somewhere in the darkness, a bear remembers when this mountain was theirs. And every night, KG ensures the torches burn bright enough to make those memories stay memories. Fire didn't make them stronger, it made strength irrelevant. The temperature must be exactly 284 degrees, not 280, the resin won't flow. Not 290, it burns and becomes useless. 284 degrees held steady for 20 minutes, while the birch bark surrenders its black gold in drops precious as blood. Morg adjusts the stone reflectors for the 100th time, creating an oven that would impress modern chemists. She doesn't know degrees or chemistry. She knows that when the stones glow, this particular shade of red, when the smoke smells like sweet earth, when her hand held here feels like summer sun, but here feels like pain. Then the tar flows true. This is Neanderthal fire, not the wild flames of Erectus or the flashy displays of sapiens, but controlled combustion as precise as mathematics. They've been perfecting fire for 200,000 years, and Morg is the latest master in an unbroken chain of expertise. The tar is everything. It binds stone points to wooden shafts, creating spears that won't fail at the worst moment. It waterproofs leather, seals containers, and medicine wounds. Without birch tar, Neanderthal technology collapses, and birch requires perfect fire. Her apprentice, young Groen, watches with intensity that hurts. He's failed 6 times, wasted precious bark, produced only charcoal and disappointment, but Morg was patient. In Neanderthal culture, knowledge transfers slowly, thoroughly. No shortcuts, no good enough, perfect or worthless. The setup is architectural, 3 flat stones angled to concentrate heat. A ceramic vessel fired at even higher temperatures last summer to catch the tar. The bark is arranged in specific patterns learned through centuries of trial. Air holes placed precisely to create the oxygen-starved environment that transforms solid wood into liquid tool. Around them, the clan works at other fires, each specialized. The cooking fire managed by elderly Tova runs cooler but steadier. The warmth fire in the sleeping area burns low and long, more coals than flame. The god fire of the cave entrance blazes bright, fed with resinous pine that creates light predators avoid. But the masterpiece is the hardening fire. Gron the spearmaker heats flint to exact temperatures that reorganize the crystal structure. Too hot and it shatters, too cool and it won't hold an edge. He's learned to read heat by color, sound, even smell. His points are art that happens to kill. This is what sapiens don't understand. When they spy on Neanderthal camps, they see fire. Neanderthals see a dozen different tools that happen to involve combustion, like calling both a hammer and a microscope metal things. The birch tar begins flowing black liquid, impossibly sticky, gathering in drops that join into streams. Morg makes a sound, not quite a word, not quite a song. And Gron scrambles to position the catching vessel. This is the critical moment. Move too fast and disturb the temperature, too slow and lose precious tar to ground. They'll get maybe 2 ounces from this burn, enough to have 5 spear points, or waterproof a small container. In sapiens camps, they waste 10 times this amount through impatience, creating toxic smoke and worthless cherries. Neanderthals know better. Resources are finite. Perfection is survival. As the tar cools, Morg lets Gron test it. The consistency must be exact, tacky but not liquid, firm but not brittle. He rolls it between fingers, learning through touch what she learned from her master 60 winters ago. This is how knowledge moves through deep time, hand to hand, fire to fire. That night, the clan gathers around the social fire, not for warmth. The cave is comfortable, but for light that extends day into darkness. They work on tools, repair clothing, and braid cord. The fire makes winter evenings productive instead of empty. Time itself becomes a resource fire creates. A sapiens trading party visited last week offering shells for tar. They watched Morg work, tried to memorize the process, but they missed the subtleties. How humidity changes temperatures, how bark age affects yield, how moon phases influence sap flow. They saw technique. Neanderthals feel it in their bones. Gron will practice for 5 more years before he's allowed to make tar alone. By then, he'll know 50 types of fire, each with its own purpose, personality, and demands. He'll be able to create heat as precise as any modern thermostat, using only stones, wood, and 200,000 years of accumulated wisdom. This is Neanderthal fire. Not bigger, not hotter, perfect. The smoke is wrong. That's what alerts the Neanderthal centuries first. Not wood smoke or coal smoke, but something chemical, purposeful. It drifts across the valley like fog, but fog that makes eyes water and breathing hurts. By the time they understand what's happening, it's too late. The sapiens came at dawn, carrying fire in ways that make no sense. Not torches or carefully tended hearths, but burning bundles attached to throwing spears. Fire that flies, fire that explodes on impact, scattering burning pitch that sticks to fur, skin, anything it touches. Garrick, the Neanderthal chief, has seen sapiens before. Usually they trade, sometimes they fight, occasionally they mate, but this is different. These sapiens move like water, flowing, coordinated, inevitable. And they bring fire as a weapon, not a tool. The attack isn't on the Neanderthals directly, it's their world. The sapiens ignite the forest upwind, creating a wall of flame that drives all game away. They burn the nut groves that take decades to mature. They poison water sources with ash and char. This isn't war, it's erased. Young Neanderthal warriors charge with their perfect spears, points hafted with precision tar. But sapiens don't stand and fight. They retreat, throwing more fire bundles, creating barriers of flame. When Neanderthals pursue through smoke, they run into pre-positioned stakes hidden in the haze. The sapiens' leader, tall, lean, with eyes that never stop calculating, directs the burning like a conductor. Hand signals send groups to ignite specific areas. They're not randomly burning, they're sculpting disaster, creating a trap made of combustion and wind. What Neanderthals don't understand is that sapiens have turned fire into technology, not just controlled flame, but chemical warfare. They've learned that green pine creates toxic smoke, that certain fungi thrown on flames create hallucinations, that oil from certain seeds makes fire that water can't extinguish. The Neanderthal children flee to the sacred cave where their ancestors are buried, where the eternal flame has burned for 1,000 years. But sapiens have planned for this too. They don't attack the cave, they smoke it, sealing most entrances, feeding wet wood into the remaining gaps. Not enough smoke to kill quickly, but enough to make staying impossible. By noon, the Neanderthals are scattered, families separated, territory lost, technology that took centuries to perfect, abandoned in the chaos. The sapiens move through the burned landscape like it's normal, wearing mudded hides that resist fire, breathing through wet leather masks. This is how sapiens fight, not with strength, but with chemistry. They've discovered that fire plus knowledge equals domination. Every plant that burns differently is catalogued. Every wind pattern is memorized. Fire isn't their servant, it's their soldier. Oldmira, the last Neanderthal tar maker, watches from a distant ridge as her workshop burns. Generations of knowledge turning to smoke, the ceramic vessels exploding from heat, the stone reflectors she spent years perfecting scattered like dice. The sapiens boy who throws the torch into her workspace is younger than her grandchildren, but the cruelest blow comes at sunset. The sapiens don't occupy the taken territory. They just leave it burned, useless, destroyed. This wasn't about resources or living space. It was about removing competition. They've learned that Neanderthals can't quickly adapt, can't easily relocate, destroy their place, and you destroy them. The surviving Neanderthals flee north to colder places where sapiens don't yet venture. But even there, the smoke follows. Every summer, more valleys burn. Every spring, fewer places remain untouched. The sapiens are terraforming Europe with fire, making it a place where only they can thrive. Garrick's daughter finds him 3 days later, dying from smoke inhalation. His last words are confusion. Why would anyone destroy what could be shared? The Neanderthal mind, built for direct confrontation and honor, can't comprehend strategic annihilation. She doesn't know she's witnessing the future of warfare. Fire is no longer just warmth and light. In sapiens' hands, it's become intelligence weaponized, chemistry deployed, landscape transformed into weapons. The strange fire the sapiens bring isn't just different flames. It's a different way of thinking about fire. Not as a tool to master, but as a force to unleash. Not as something to perfect, but something to innovate. The smoke clears, But the message remains: evolve or burn. The Neanderthals, perfect as they were, couldn't do the former fast enough to avoid the latter. Before fire, mating was animal, quick, functional, driven by stress and opportunity. Darkness meant sleep or terror, nothing between. But now, as flames dance in the hearth, something unprecedented happens. Tam looks at LRA across the fire, and for the first time in human evolution, someone falls in love with how light plays on another's face. The evening starts like every other. The clan of Homo sapiens fed, warm, secure in their cave as darkness owns the world outside. But fire has given them something no species ever had. Time after sunset isn't about survival. Empty hours that demand filling. And in that emptiness, the human heart evolves. Tam has known Lara since childhood, but firelight makes her new. The way shadows define her cheekbones, how her eyes catch orange reflections. When she laughs, her teeth flash white against flame-darkened skin. He's seeing beauty and concepts that couldn't exist without light to reveal it. She notices him watching. Before fire, this would mean nothing, but extended evenings have created something new. Anticipation, the slow burn of attraction built over hours of sitting together, working on tools by firelight, sharing warmth that isn't just thermal. The old stories start as they do every night. But tonight, Tam tells a new one about a hunter who brought down the sun for a woman who feared darkness. It's fiction, another innovation fire enabled. In the story, the hunter is clever and brave, the woman beautiful and wise. Everyone knows he means himself and Elra, but metaphor is another gift of fireside evenings. LRA responds with her own story about a woman who tamed fire itself, keeping it alive through winter so her clan could survive. In her version, the woman chooses her mate based on who brings the best wood, who tends the flame most carefully. Tam understands courtship is being invented in real time. Before fire, pairs formed through dominance, proximity, or biological timing. Now something else is happening. Choice based on abstract qualities. Humor demonstrated through stories. Intelligence shown by innovation, creativity displayed in flame shadows, dancing on cave walls. Fire has made personality visible. The children are asleep. Another gift of security fire brings. The elders doze in warmth. For the first time, young adults have privacy in public, intimate space created by pools of light and shadow. Tam moves closer to LRA. She doesn't retreat. The negotiation happens in glances, in breath, in the space between them shrinking like fuel being consumed when they kiss. The first kiss for pleasure rather than procreation. The fire pops, sending sparks toward the cave roof like stars being born around them. Others pretend not to notice, but they're learning too. That courtship can be slow, that desire can build, that choosing a mate can involve more than strength or fertility. In the months that follow, fire enables their romance. He brings her special woods that burn with different colors, copper salts that make green flames, driftwood that burns blue. She saves him the best portions of cooked meat, learn which smoke he prefers. Pine for its sweet smell, oak for its steady heat. They develop signals. When she banks the coals a certain way, it means meet her when others sleep. When he adds specific kindling, it's an invitation to sit beside him. Fire becomes their language, their messenger, their witness. The pregnancy when it comes is different too. Not the usual consequence of spring hormones, but planned, discussed by firelight. They've watched other couples, learned what works and what doesn't. Fire's extended evenings have created wisdom about relationships, passing through stories and observation. When the baby arrives, it's born into a firelight. The first thing it sees isn't darkness or blinding sun, but gentle, controlled flame. The infant will grow up taking for granted what changed everything. That night can be conquered. That cold is optional. That love can be performed rather than just felt. Years later, when Tam and LRA are old, they still tend to the same fire that witnessed their first kiss. Their grandchildren laugh at their stories, at how they claim to have invented romance. But in a way, they did. They were the first generation to have time for love, light to see it by, warmth to nurture it. Fire didn't just cook meat and scare predators. It created the evening, that magical time when work is done, but sleep hasn't claimed us. And in those stolen hours between sunset and exhaustion, humans discovered they had hearts as well as hands. Love by firelight, the most human thing possible, born from humanity's first great tool. The valley had been Neanderthal territory for 8,000 years, every cave catalogued, every water source named, every seasonal hunting ground mapped in memory, passed from grandparent to child. But today, at dawn, the entire valley would cease to exist. Koru, leader of the Sapiens war band, studies the wind patterns he's been tracking for weeks. Southwest, steady, dry, perfect. His 40 warriors spread along the eastern ridge, each carrying bundles of grass soaked in pine resin, animal fat, an innovation Neanderthals never imagined. This isn't arson, it's engineering. The Neanderthals below wake to normal morning sounds, birds, wind, the distant grunt of all rocks. They don't notice the first smoke tendrils thin as spider silk rising from 24 ignition points. By the time they smell it, the mathematics of fire has already determined their fate. Fire spreads exponentially. 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes avalanche. The Sapiens don't just light random spots. They've created a perfect geometric pattern, calculating wind speed, fuel load, humidity. They've turned the entire valley into a carefully designed furnace with Neanderthals at the center. Grom, the Neanderthal watchman, sees it first. The eastern hills are crowned with orange, not sunrise, wrong direction. His warning cry is primal, wordless, understood by every living thing. Fire comes, but this fire is different. It doesn't creep like natural wildfire. It runs, leaps, flies. The Sapiens have created fire roads, paths of extra fuel that channel flames towards specific targets, the main Neanderthal camp, the backup caves, the river crossing. Every escape route becomes a trap. The Neanderthal mothers grab children, but where to run? North is blocked by flame. South is the river, but smoke follows water, creating a suffocating corridor. East is the source. West is a cliff. They're in a bowl of fire and someone has put the lid on. Young Neanderthal warriors try to fight fire with fire, a technique they know. But Sapiens anticipated this. They've created fire breaks that channel Neanderthal counterfires back on themselves. Every defensive move has been wargamed, countered before attempted. The animals flee first. Deer, boar, even predators stream past Neanderthals without attacking. United in terror, a cave bear, its fur smoking, crashes through the camp. Behind it, the reason is a wall of flame 50 ft high, moving faster than anything can run. Some Neanderthals make for the sacred cave, high on the cliff. It's defended, stocked, safe. But Koru planned for this. His specialists have already been there, sealed most entrances, left only one, which opens directly into an upward chimney. The cave becomes a crematorium. The Sapiens watch from safe ridges, faces painted with ash and ochre, looking like demons in the smoke. They don't cheer or celebrate. This is work, not sport. They're changing the landscape's ecology permanently, making it unsuitable for Neanderthal life, but perfect for Sapiens' different hunting patterns. By noon, the valley is a moonscape. Every tree reduced to charcoal spikes, streams running black with ash. The soil itself is sterilized, cooked until even seeds are dead. It will take decades to recover, but Sapiens don't need it to. They've already moved to the next valley. 3 Neanderthal families escape, the ones who ran immediately, abandoning everything. They stand on distant ridges, watching 8,000 years of culture turn to smoke. The carefully maintained groves, the tool workshops, the burial grounds where ancestors wait for visits that will never come. Koru allows them to leave. The message matters more than complete elimination. Let survivors spread the word. Sapiens bring the fire that ends worlds. Resistance means your entire landscape becomes uninhabitable. Submission means you might live elsewhere, diminished. This is the new warfare, not warrior against warrior, but ecosystem against population. Sapiens have learned that you don't need to kill every enemy if you can kill their world. Fire is the perfect weapon. It multiplies force, spreads itself, leaves nothing useful behind. The great burning of valleys continues for 3 generations. Each year, Neanderthal territory shrinks. Each year, more black scars across Europe. The sapiens are terraforming through destruction, creating a continent where only they know the new rules. When the last Neanderthal dies in Gibraltar, it won't be from a spear or disease. It will be from looking at burned horizons in every direction. Nowhere left that hasn't been touched by sapiens' strange fire. The great burning didn't kill Neanderthals. It deleted the world they needed to exist. Fire as geography editor, landscape as casualty, victory through making your enemy's entire reality obsolete. The baby stops crying the moment mother holds her near the fire, not touching, never touching. Every child learns that lesson through small burns and tears, but close enough to feel the warmth that means safety. Close enough to watch the dancing light that captures infant eyes like nothing else can. By 3 winters, little Na knows the rules. Never play with the fire sticks. Always tell adults when flames get small. Keeping her hair tied back after Sin's accident left her scarred. The fire is a friend and monster requiring respect earned through pain. The children's jobs revolve around fire. Gathering, kindling dry twigs that snap, never green ones that smoke, blowing gently on coals to wake them. Lungs learn the exact pressure that brings flame without scattering ash. Watching for spark catchers, those dangerous floating embers that could ignite the whole shelter. But fire transforms childhood beyond chores. Evening means stories now, not immediate sleep when darkness falls. Grandfather's tales grow elaborate in flickering light. Shadows become mammoths on cave walls. Fingers create dire wolves that chase across stone. Children learn their people's history through performances only fire makes possible. The games change too. Who can hold their hand closest to flame longest? Brave or stupid, but irresistible. Making shadow puppets that tell silent stories, drawing patterns in cooled ash, heating stones to crack open nuts. Pretending to be adults with their important fireworks. Fire makes childhood longer before children became adults when they were strong enough to contribute. Now, evenings by the hearth create time for play, for learning beyond mere survival. Young minds develop differently when days don't end at sunset. Questions multiply when there's time to ask them. Language itself grows complex around fire. New words for different fires. Cooking flame, warmth flame, protection flame, ceremony flame. Children learn temperature by metaphor. Hot as sunrise, warm as mother's breath, cold as moon shadow. Fire gives them concepts for things they can't touch. The accident teaches everyone. Little Mora, always curious, throws green leaves on the flame to see pretty smoke. But the smoke blinds, chokes. In panic, people scatter. Someone falls into coals. Mora survives, but carries guilt heavier than burned scars. Every child learns through her mistakes. Fire forgives nothing, yet they can't stay away. Adolescents sneak out to build secret fires away from adults. First kisses happen by these forbidden flames. Young love learning that fire keeps secrets if you feed it properly. They're becoming fire's next generation of keepers through rebellion as much as teaching. When the old grandfather dies, the children insist on maintaining his special fire for 7 days. They've never done this before, but somehow know it matters. Taking shifts, never letting it die, they create humanity's first memorial. Fire becomes memory, keeping the dead present through light. The children born after fire are different from their parents. Rounder faces from cooked food require less chewing. Bigger eyes adapted to firelight. Most remarkably, they play with ideas the way their parents played with sticks. Fire hasn't just warmed their bodies, it's evolved their minds. The smoke signals are wrong. 3 puffs. Pause. 2 puffs. That means friendly traders approaching. But Gork knows the pattern is too perfect, too practiced. The Homo sapiens are getting clever, learning Neanderthal codes. This isn't trade, it's deception. The sapiens want Firewood Valley, where dead trees from an ancient blaze provide decades of perfect fuel. Dry, accessible, abundant. The Neanderthals have controlled it for generations. Their careful harvesting ensures wood for winters to come. But sapiens don't manage. They consume. Both sides understand the economics of flame. Who controls fuel controls survival. Every tree becomes a strategic resource. Every good coal-producing hardwood is worth fighting for. The old days of sharing fire are over. Now fire means power and power means conflict. The first skirmish happens at dawn. Sapiens try to steal burning branches from Neanderthal outpost fires, running torches back to their cold camps. But Neanderthals are ready. They've surrounded their fires with cleared ground, thorn barriers. The thieves are caught, beaten, sent back without flame or dignity. Escalation is inevitable. Sapiens discover Neanderthals' secret tar pits, where pine resin is carefully extracted for waterproofing and hafting. One night, they don't steal tar. They set the entire pit ablaze. The explosion is visible for miles, raining flaming pitch that ignites forest. 3 Neanderthal children die in the inferno. Revenge comes through deprivation. Neanderthals know every firestone source. Flint that sparks. Iron pyrite that catches flame. They systematically destroy these sites, crushing stones to powder, mixing them with mud. If sapiens want fire, they'll have to maintain it constantly without backup. One mistake means freezing. The sapiens respond with biological warfare. They burn poison oak upwind of Neanderthal caves. The smoke causes rashes, temporary blindness, and respiratory agony. Not fatal, but debilitating enough to make fire tending impossible. Camps go cold while everyone suffers. Winter raises stakes to deadly levels. A sapiens child freezes to death when Neanderthals successfully extinguish their only fire during a blizzard. The grieving mother leads a suicide raid, carrying burning pine packed with volatile resin. She dies, destroying the Neanderthals' main fuel store, taking their winter survival with her. Some try. A young Neanderthal woman and sapiens man meet secretly, sharing fire knowledge between species. She teaches him the subtle art of coal banking. He shows her how to create fire bundles that burn for hours unattended. Their child will carry both traditions, but neither tribe accepts the mixing. The war creates innovation through desperation. Sapiens develop portable fire, ember carried in hollow bones packed with fungus. Neanderthals perfect underground fire chambers that enemies can't detect or destroy. Both sides get better at fire because both sides keep trying to deny it to others. The fighting transforms landscapes. Strategic burning creates barriers, destroys resources, sends messages. Entire valleys become blackened no-man's lands, where neither species can survive. The wars are making both groups migrate, spreading fire knowledge farther than peace ever could. By the time exhaustion forces truce, both species are forever changed. They've learned that fire is property, territory, and weapon. The innocent flame that once united against darkness now divides in daylight. Every hearth is political, every spark is strategic. Fire inverts nature's rules, the prey that hides in darkness, the predators that own the night. Suddenly, humans make new laws. Ikesh leads the first night hunt, carrying flame into darkness, like declaring war on fear itself. The torches are weapons of terror more than light. Deer freeze when fire approaches. Evolution has taught them that running toward flame means death. They stand paralyzed, eyes reflecting orange as spears find their mark. What took days of tracking by daylight takes hours by firelight. Cave bears, invincible in their dark dens, become vulnerable. Hunters no longer wait for bears to emerge. They bring fire to the darkness, smoking them out, turning sanctuaries into traps. The bears, blind and confused, stumble into prepared killing grounds. The apex predator becomes prey. But night hunting demands different skills. Distance judgment fails in flickering light. Shadows move independently from their sources. Every tree becomes a potential enemy, every sound magnified. The hunters must unlearn daytime instincts, develop night minds. They discover that predators fear fire, but prey doesn't always flee. Rabbits, mesmerized by flames, can be approached close enough to grab. Birds, roosting and reluctant to fly in darkness, become easy targets. The torchbearer becomes the most important hunter, controlling what others see and what sees them. Fishing transforms completely. Night torches draw fish to the surface like a magnet pulling iron. Spawning runs that happen in darkness become harvests. Entire rivers lit by fire lines. Humans scooping confused fish drawn to false stars. Protein that swam safely in darkness now feeds growing populations. The psychological shift is profound. Humans stop being afraid of the dark. Young hunters compete to venture farthest from camp flames, proving courage. The night becomes another territory to claim. Darkness is just another challenge to overcome. Fear itself begins dying, replaced by calculated risk. Accidents teach harsh lessons. Growl burns to death when his pine torch explodes from too much resin. Mira falls off a cliff, misjudging distance in torch shadow. The night hunt claims its own, but survivors learn, adapt, improve. Each death prevents 10 more through shared wisdom. Animals begin adapting too. Deer learn to distinguish torch fire from wildfire. Predators hunt the edges of human flamelight, picking off distracted hunters. An evolutionary arms race begins, driving both predator and prey toward greater intelligence. Fire is forcing every species to think harder. Communication evolves for night work. Whistle signals that carry farther than words. Torch movements that convey complex messages. A language of light develops. Rapid waves mean danger. Slow circles meaning gather. Thrown torches meaning run. Humans become fluent in flame. The social dynamics shift. Night hunters gain special status. Their courage and skill provided a feast. When day hunters return empty, they develop their own rituals, songs, and scarification patterns. A guild of darkness conquerors who carry flame where flame shouldn't go. Women join night hunting. Their lighter footsteps and often better night vision make them superior stalkers. The darkness erases physical advantages of size. In firelight, cunning matters more than strength. Gender roles blur when you can't see who holds the spear. Night hunting makes humans supernatural to other species, creatures that move in darkness, bringing portable suns, killing when killing shouldn't happen. Every species' survival manual must be rewritten. The firebears have broken nature's oldest rule. Day creatures sleep when darkness comes. Ice crystallizes on cave walls. Breath becomes visible fog. Children cry from the cold that fire can't quite defeat. This is the worst winter in memory. And the Homo sapiens are learning that controlling fire doesn't mean controlling nature. But Yara has an idea that sounds like madness. Instead of bigger fires, she wants to move into the cold. Not away from it, but toward it. North, where Neanderthals say no sapiens can survive. She believes fire makes the impossible possible. The preparation takes all autumn. They create portable fire systems, hollow gourds filled with coals wrapped in wet leather that steams but doesn't burn. Fire-starting kits with dry fungus, flint and pyrite distributed among everyone, even children. If one fire dies, 20 others can birth it again. The clothing revolution begins. Instead of simple furs, they create layered systems with fire-dried inner skins that trap warm air. mittens with pockets for hot stones, face masks with breathing holes positioned to warm incoming air using exhaled heat. Fire isn't just carried, it's worn. They move north in stages, each camp pushing farther into territories ice has owned forever. The cold is alien, hostile, murderous, but their fires burn differently here. Hotter, more efficient. The cold air creates a better draw. They're learning that extreme cold makes fire stronger, not weaker. The ice caves astound them, frozen waterfalls creating natural shelters. Ice is so thick it insulates better than stone. They learn to build fires on stone platforms, preventing melt-through. The caves become warm bubbles in frozen hell, comfortable enough for babies to play naked while blizzards rage outside. Food changes in the cold. Frozen meat keeps indefinitely. No more racing rot, no more gorging before spoilage. They can hunt once, eat for weeks. Fire for cooking becomes less desperate, more artistic. They develop slow cooking in leather bags with hot stones, creating flavors of warmth alone never achieved. The psychological victory matters most. Neanderthals always owned the cold territories, their thick bodies adapted for ice. But sapiens with fire can go where Neanderthals need no fire to go. Technology equalizes biology. The Cold Rebellion is also a territorial revolution. They discover resources Neanderthals missed because Neanderthals didn't need them. Frozen tar pits that fire makes accessible. Ice-preserved wood from ancient forests. Mammoth graveyards where frozen flesh still feeds flames and stomachs. The cold preserves what warmth destroys. Navigation improves in the frozen north. Stars clearer through cold air. Smoke signals are visible for dozens of miles. Ice reflects firelight, creating beacons that guide lost hunters home. The harsh landscape becomes a highway for those who master its rules. The children born in ice caves are different. Metabolisms that run hotter, tolerance for smoke that would choke southern relatives. Most remarkably, they play with ice and fire together, heating stones to melt specific patterns, creating ice windows that admit light, but not wind. The cold is making them innovative. When spring comes, some choose to stay north. The cold is hard, but predictable. Resources are scarce, but uncontested. They're becoming ice people by choice, using fire to live where life shouldn't exist. The Cold Rebellion has become a cold preference. The smoke rises wrong from Tara's peak, 3 columns instead of the usual one. Kra sees it from 2 valleys away, understands immediately her father has died. The funeral smoke carries news faster than runners, sadness traveling at the speed of sight. This changes everything about distance. Before smoke signals, separation meant silence. Hunters vanish for weeks, maybe dead, maybe successful. Now smoke speaks across miles. 1 puff, all is well. 2 come quickly. 3, death. Complex patterns for complex messages. Young Dren watches southern smoke daily, waiting for the pattern that means Sa's clan has arrived for summer gathering. When he sees it, 5 quick puffs, pause, 2 long burns. His heart races. She's 3 days away, but already talking to him through flame and sky. Their courtship began through smoke before they ever touched. Technology evolves rapidly. Different materials create different smokes. Green wood for thick white signals visible against dark mountains. Pine needles for black smoke that shows against snow. Dried fungi that creates purple smoke for ceremonies. They're painting the sky with messages. Navigation revolutionizes. Lost hunters send up smoke, and response smoke guides them home. Hunting parties coordinate across vast distances. One group drives prey toward another, whose smoke reveals their position. The landscape becomes connected, a network of fire speakers linked by sightlines and wind. But smoke betrays too. Enemy tribes read signals meant for friends. The sapiens learn this when Neanderthals ambush their summer camp, having watched smoke patterns for weeks, learning their communication system. Privacy dies when your words float visible in the air. Codes develop from necessity. Each clan creates unique patterns, false signals to confuse enemies. Silent days to prevent information leaking. Children learn smoke reading like language, understanding that bent smoke means wind change, that color indicates distance, that duration speaks urgency. Love finds new expression. Sarah sends morning smoke just to say she's thinking of Dren. He responds with evening fires that burn specific woods she taught him. Cedar for longing, applewood for joy. They conduct romance across miles. Their hearts are connected by columns of rising ash. The funeral smoke for KL's father draws clans from impossible distances. People who haven't gathered in years navigate by the continuous signal, a pillar of grief that unites scattered families. The ceremony becomes the largest gathering ever, made possible by smoke that wouldn't stop calling. Trade networks explode. Smoke announces what goods each clan brings to gathering sites. Supply and demand negotiate through patterns in the sky. A complex economy develops where agreements are made through smoke before people ever meet. Weather prediction improves as smoke watchers notice patterns. Smoke that bends east means storms from west. Smoke that won't rise signals pressure changes. They're reading atmospheric conditions through flames' interaction with air, becoming meteorologists by necessity. The smoke language grows sophisticated. Grammatical structures develop. Subject smoke, verb smoke, object smoke. Abstract concepts get patterns. Past, present, and future tense indicated by duration. They're not just signaling anymore. They're having conversations with the sky. Emergency systems save lives. When little Mayan falls into a ravine, her father's emergency smoke brings help from 3 clans. When prairie fire threatens, warning smoke gives everyone time to escape. The smoke network becomes a safety net, connecting humans across dangerous distances. Nobody meant for it to happen. Young Tech just wanted to flush out rabbits from the dry meadow. A small fire controlled like dozens he'd set before. But this summer was different. Hotter, drier. The wind changed without warning. The grass exploded rather than burned. Fire racing faster than humans could run. Leaping streams create its own weather. Within an hour, the entire valley was in flames. Within 3 hours, the neighboring valleys. By sunset, a 100 square miles of territory was becoming ash. The Neanderthal clan in the northern caves had no warning. Smoke signals meant nothing to them. They didn't use that language. The first they knew was when deer stampeded through their camp. Fur smoking, eyes wild with terror. Behind the deer came the wall of flame 50 feet high, roaring like nothing they'd ever heard. The children died first, unable to run fast enough. The elderly next, choosing to stop, so others might escape. The adults who made it to the river found it wasn't salvation. The fire jumped it, sparks creating spot fires that surrounded them. They died in water that boiled from radiant heat. 3 Homo sapiens clans were erased completely. Their carefully maintained territories, fruit groves generations old, nut trees that fed hundreds, all became carbon in minutes. The survivors stood on distant ridges, watching their entire world transform into smoke that blocked the sun for days. But the animals suffered worse. Thousands of deer, rabbits, birds, everything that couldn't fly or run fast enough. The smell of burned flesh carried for miles, attracting scavengers who then themselves got trapped by shifting flames. Death feeding death in a cycle of consumption. The aftermath was silence. No birds sang, no insects buzzed, just wind through blackened stakes that had been forests and the occasional crack of still burning logs. The survivors wandered this moonscape, unable to recognize landmarks, lost in their own territory. Starvation followed fire. Everything edible was ash. The animals that survived fled to distant territories. Streams ran black with soot, undrinkable. The mushrooms that usually grew after fires were toxic species that thrived on disaster. Even successful hunters found no wood for cooking fires. Everything combustible was already consumed. Disease came next. Burns that couldn't be treated properly. lungs damaged by smoke, water sources contaminated by ash and corpses. Children developed breathing problems that would last lifetimes. Pregnant women miscarried from stress and malnutrition. The fire kept killing long after flames died. The psychological trauma was worse. Tech never spoke again. His mind was broken by the magnitude of his accident. Others developed the terror of fire itself. Unable to approach even cooking flames, children woke screaming from dreams of burning. The tool that had defined human success became a source of paralytic fear. Clans began keeping fire guards, people whose only job was preventing catastrophe. Strict rules developed. No fires on windy days, no burning near dry grass, always having water or sand nearby. The accident created a safety culture, but at the cost of thousands of lives. Some blamed the gods, saying humans had grown too proud with their flame mastery. Others blamed tech, though most recognized it could have been anyone. The randomness was the terrifying part. One wind shift, one extra dry season, one moment of inattention, and entire populations could vanish. The burned lands did eventually recover. New growth attracted games. Different plants colonized the ashen-enriched soil. But it took generations. The humans who returned were descendants of survivors. Inheriting traumatic memories of the day fire, stopped being a servant and became a monster again. The fires burned for 47 years without dying. Through wars, migrations, and plagues, someone has always fed it. This isn't just flame anymore. It's become sacred, carrying the essence of every hand that tended it. Every prayer whispered to its light. Old Myra remembers when it was just a normal fire lit from lightning strike. But when her daughter recovered from fever while sleeping beside it, when the hunters who warmed themselves before a desperate hunt succeeded, when babies born in its light survived while others didn't, pattern became belief and belief became religion. The firekeepers are chosen as children selected for qualities invisible but understood. Not the strongest or smartest, but those who stare at flames longest, who hear voices in the crackle, who dream of light. They begin training at 7, learning not just practical maintenance, but the spiritual feeding of sacred flame. The rituals evolved naturally. The morning greeting, thanking fire for surviving the night. The evening feeding, using specific woods for specific prayers. The monthly ceremony where everyone contributes one stick, binding the community through shared combustion. Fire becomes the center that everything else orbits. Offerings transform from practical to symbolic. The first fruits of harvest, the best portions of hunts, sometimes blood, sometimes tears, always given with belief that fire carries messages to its forces beyond smoke. The offerings burn, disappear, therefore must go somewhere. Logic becomes theology. Other clans bring their sick to the sacred fire, not for warmth, but for healing that comes from proximity to the eternal. Some recover, confirmation of power, some die. Insufficient faith or offering. The fire's reputation grows either way. Failure explained as human fault, success as divine blessing. The sacred fire demands purity. Only virgin wood, never touched by ground. Water for emergencies must come from morning dew, never streams. The keepers fast before major tendings, ensuring their spiritual cleanliness doesn't contaminate the flame. Rules multiply, each adding distance between sacred and ordinary. Visions come to those who watch long enough. Shapes in flames that predict the future, colors that indicate fortune or doom. The drug is oxygen deprivation from smoke, exhaustion from vigil, but the experiences feel divine. The fire speaks to those who know how to listen, saying whatever the listener needs to hear. Wars pause at the sacred fire. Enemies who would kill elsewhere share its warmth in peace. The flame creates sanctuary, neutral ground where its power supersedes tribal hatred. Some conflicts are resolved by fire trial. Whoever the flame burns is guilty. Whoever it spares is innocent. The fire witnesses marriages. Its smoke carries vows skyward. Babies are presented to flames. Their acceptance is measured by whether they cry. The dead are cremated in branches from the sacred woodpile, their essence joining the eternal combustion. Life events become legitimate only when fire witnesses them. When the earthquake comes, destroying the cave, the keeper's first action is saving the flame, carrying it in special vessels, protecting it with their bodies. 3 keepers die, ensuring its survival. The flame matters more than those who tend it. It has become larger than life. The new temple is built around the transported fire, stone walls that channel smoke skyward, platforms for observers, storage for offerings. What began as a campfire has become an architectural reason. Humanity's first permanent structure built for belief rather than shelter. She is the last. The final Neanderthal who knows the old ways of fire. Her clan is dead, her species dying, but the flame she tends has burned since her grandmother's grandmother first fed it. Neymar will not let it die, even if she must die keeping it alive. The Homo sapiens avoid her cave. Superstition keeps them distant. They've taken everything else, the valleys, the hunting grounds, the rivers. But this one cave with its ancient fire remains untouched. They fear the old woman who speaks to flames in languages they don't understand. Her fingers swollen with age and cold, still know every temperature by touch, the exact heat for making tar, the precise flame for hardening spear points. Knowledge accumulated over 200,000 years of Neanderthal fire mastery, living now in only her hands and fading memory. She tries teaching the sapiens boy who brings her food, shows him how to read smoke colors, how different woods create different heats, but he wants quick knowledge, not deep understanding. His people learn fast but shallow. They innovate constantly but master nothing. He stops coming when she won't share secrets that take lifetimes to learn. The fire remembers better than she does now. In its coals, she sees the faces of her dead children. In its smoke, she smells the ceremonies of her youth. The flame has become her only conversation partner, the only thing that knew her world when her world was full. Winter is coming, and she has no strength to gather wood. She burns her sleeping furs, then her tools, then the sacred objects that should pass to descendants who don't exist. Each feeding of the fire is a goodbye to something irreplaceable. She's cremating her culture, one artifact at a time. The Homo sapiens girl finds her during the first blizzard. Nimmer is nearly frozen, the fire down to 3 small coals. The girl builds it back up with the aggressive, wasteful burning of her kind. Too much wood, too fast but effective. The warmth returns, and with it brief clarity through gestures and shared understanding. Nimmer tries one last teaching, shows the girl the ancient way of banking coals, of creating fire that sleeps but doesn't die. The girl is patient, curious, and different from others. She learns the hand movements, if not the meaning. It's enough. Someone will carry forward the gesture, if not the understanding. When the girl leaves, Nimmer knows she won't return. The storm is too severe, the distance too great. But she left wood more than Nimmer can burn, a kindness from the species that destroyed hers, or perhaps guilt, or perhaps just one young human recognizing another human in distress. Nimmer feeds the fire on her last possession. The ochre-stained hide that wrapped her baby son died these 40 winters. The smoke carries its essence upward, and she imagines him warm again, safe again in a place where Neanderthals still live. She arranges the coals in the pattern her mother taught her, the spiral that means sleep well, wake strong. Then she lies down beside the fire she's tended since childhood, feeling its warmth like a mother's embrace. She closes her eyes, knowing that when she stops breathing, the fire will continue a bit longer. The last Neanderthal and her last fire die together 3 days later. The Homo sapiens who find her don't understand the significance of the spiral pattern in the cold coals. They take the cave, light new fires, never knowing they're dancing on the grave of 200,000 years of different wisdom. We won. Look around any human settlement today, fires burning everywhere, cooking, warmth, light, industry. The planet's only species that makes fire rather than flees it. We competed with 6 other human species for fire mastery. They're all dead. We're all that's left. The victory wasn't through strength. Neanderthals were stronger, had fire longer. It wasn't through intelligence, their brains were bigger. It was through something else. The ability to imagine fire differently. While they perfected the flame, we revolutionized it. We turned fire into weapons they couldn't counter, burning their forests, smoking their caves, using flame not just as a tool but as terror. We transformed landscapes through strategic burning, making environments perfect for us, poisonous for them. We made fire portable in ways they never imagined, carried it in bones, in shells, in wrapped coals that stayed hot for days. We took fireplaces that had never been, across oceans, into ice, up mountains. Every human migration was a fire migration. We socialized fire differently. While Neanderthals kept clan fires, we created fire networks, trading flames, sharing techniques, spreading innovation like sparks across continents. One discovery in Africa would reach Europe within generations. Our fire knowledge went viral before viruses were known. We mythologize fire, making it sacred, giving it meaning beyond heat. This wasn't just psychology. It ensured careful tending, communal responsibility, transmission of knowledge through religious rather than practical teaching. We convinced ourselves fire had souls, so we'd never let it die. We industrialized fire before industry existed, production lines of people maintaining different temperatures for different purposes. Specialization that let some become fire masters while others hunted. We turned fire from a survival tool into an economic engine. Most crucially, we never stopped innovating. Every generation made fire do something new, clearing land, signaling across valleys, creating smoke that killed insects, flames that worked underwater in oil-soaked sand. We pushed fire into uses nobody else imagined possible. Today's humans carry that legacy. Every engine burns fuel. That's fire. Every power plant creates heat. That's fire. Even your computer runs on electricity, probably generated by combustion. We're still the fire species, just with fancier ignition systems. The other human species who competed for fire mastery left no descendants, no legacy except fragments in our DNA. We absorbed what worked, discarded what didn't. Their fire knowledge died with them, except for what we stole, adapted, improved. When we learned to make fire whenever we wanted, not just preserve it but create it, we broke free from nature's rules. No longer dependent on lightning or volcanoes, we became the gods of combustion, creating light and heat from nothing but knowledge and will. But mastery came with costs. We burned forests that took millennia to grow, changed atmospheric chemistry, drove countless species extinct through habitat destruction. The same fire that cooked our food and warmed our nights also scorched Earth into the desert. We sit now as the only human species on a planet we've transformed through combustion. Every city glows with artificial fires. Every vehicle carries controlled explosions. We've built a civilization on the foundation of that first stolen lightning, that first maintained flame. From trembling Homo habilis fleeing darkness to modern humans splitting atoms, another kind of fire. The journey has been about mastering combustion. We are what we are because we learned to burn things. And we're alone because we burned better than anyone else. Fire made us, fire saved us, fire isolated us. We're the masters of combustion on a planet where everyone else is just fuel. The transformation is complete. From fire's victims to fire's only masters, the flame still burns. In every engine, every power plant, every candle, every match, we won the fire wars. Now we rule alone, warming ourselves at flames that remember when there were others who knew their secrets.